Hello friends, today I am going to cover the top 10 Java interview questions that are most likely to be asked from a candidate who has experience from 0 to 2 years. So if you are new to Java, then don't miss them, and if you are experienced, then revise these questions at least one time, because sometimes we know the incorrect or half information, which is dangerous. Hey, my name is Happy and I help candidates in cracking interviews. So let's start with the first question.
And yes, for a real interview experience, first hear the question, pause the video, then think about your own answer, then play my answer and compare it with yours.
What are JDK, JRE and JVM? How a Java program compiled or executed? Let's understand with the help of a simple diagram. Suppose you have a very basic Java program firstcode.java. Okay. Now before running this program, if there is any syntax error here, then Java will automatically show it to you. Right? That is called compile time error checking, which will happen automatically even before running this program. Now the question is, how does it automatically happens? This is done by a kit which we call the Java Development Kit or JDK, which we install just before running the Java programs. Okay, so what happens inside this JDK kit? We will have many tools for executing Java programs, and one of those tools is the Java compiler tool. And this Java compiler tool is used to compile the above Java program. Okay, meaning Java compiler tool of JDK is responsible for checking and showing any kind of compile time errors in the Java program, and also it convert the Java program to bytecode. Let me tell you how. Suppose this is your code, Java code, and suppose you are also using some Java class libraries inside it, like string class, array list class. Okay, then all those libraries will be present inside the JRE. So it will contain all the libraries code. JRE is what? JRE is Java Runtime Environment, and it contains libraries and other things also, and it is also present inside the JDK only. Okay, now listen carefully. When you are writing the Java code, then the Java compiler side by side compiling and converting your code plus the library code which it is getting from the JRE. If you are using any library in your code, then only. Then that code will be converted to bytecode by the Java compiler, and that is also called the compile time process. This is whole compile time process before running the program. Remember, until now we have not run this program, and bytecode is already generated by the Java compiler. Now when you press the run program button or run command, after that it will be runtime. Okay, what will happen next? JDK will have the JRE, right? And JRE will have the JVM inside it, and JVM will contain the JIT compiler, okay, which will finally execute and convert the bytecode into the native code or the machine code, you can say, which is the ultimate code which your computer and hardware can understand. Okay, so this conversion of bytecode to native code, machine code, is called runtime. Okay, if there is any error, then it is called runtime error and in the runtime. Great, that is the whole story. And yes, apart from JIT compiler, JVM also do memory management, thread handling, etc. And yes, remember one thing, JVM is present inside JRE and JRE is present inside JDK, meaning you only need JDK to install on your system to run the Java programs. So that is the whole process that happens in the background when you writing the Java program, and after that you are running. Okay, Also here I have written the simplest description definition of JDK, then JRE, then JVM, then JIT. So basically whatever I have explained, all this is here in the written format, so that later if you want to refresh or revise all these concepts, then rather than listening to the complete video again, just have a look for 3-4 seconds and your revision will be done. That's a faster way of revision just before the interviews, right? What is main method in Java? What is the role of public, static and void in it? This is a coding question, so let's see the code. Here is our very first basic program in Java. Class I will explain later, okay, in upcoming questions. Let's focus on this main method. See, we already know inside JDK we have JVM, right? JVM is what? JVM is a program only which is created by the Java creators. Okay, now listen carefully. Whenever you execute any program, the JVM program will first execute it. And like we call methods in our normal Java program, similarly, the JVM program will call this main method from inside it. Okay, so JVM program will call the main method. That's how this main method will be executed. Got it? In a way, you can also say that the main method in Java is the first method to be executed by the JVM. Or you can say that main method is the entry point for a Java program. Okay? Now the second part of the question is, what is the role of public, static and void? Okay, these keywords. See, if you are new to Java, new to these keywords, then I will explain them in detail in upcoming question. But here I will give you a very short description of these keywords. Okay, so public is an access specifier, meaning by using this public keyword, now your main method will be accessible from outside, even outside this first code class. And that is the reason why the JVM program, which is outside this first code class, is still able to access your main method. That is the reason. Okay. Then this main method can't be accessible if this is not public. Suppose I do it private. Private means now this main method is not accessible outside this first code class, and if I will try to run this, so see at the bottom here you will find main method not found in first code. Okay, because main method is not accessible by the JVM. Clear? The second keyword is static, which makes this main methods as a static method. Meaning you can call this main method directly from inside the JVM without even creating the object of this first code class. Okay, so that is the purpose of a static. And then we have void, which means main method is not going to return anything. That's it. Again, don't worry if you are new to these keywords. I will cover in detail this static also in detail in upcoming questions. Alright. Great. Now I have copied all the code here, and here also I have posted the description of public keyword, then a static keyword, then what is the purpose of void and main method. All I already explained, but this can help you in faster revision before the interviews, right? What is Java bytecode? What is high level and low level code? All the time we are saying Java is converted to bytecode. But what is this bytecode? See, here is our Java code. Okay. Then with the help of the Java compiler tool inside the JDK, this Java code will be converted into this kind of bytecode. So see how complex is this bytecode. Okay, this is the same thing, bytecode. And this is complex, that's why we never write bytecode code directly. Okay, we write simple Java program, and then it is the responsibility of JDK to convert that into bytecode. Okay, Now the simplest definition of bytecode is here. Java bytecode is a platform independent intermediate code generated by the Java compiler. Simple, right? Now what is high level and low level code? So you already know the answer. Java is the high level, bytecode is the intermediate level, and native machine code is the low level code. Okay, great. I hope now you are feeling more confident about the Java program execution, right? Alright friends, before moving to the next question, if you have not yet accepted the never give up challenge, then accept it. Promise yourself you will never give up until you crack the interview. Start and accept this challenge by writing never give up in the comments right now and feel the confidence. What are the differences between primitive and reference data types? Very important question. So if we have a primitive data type like this, then in the memory, the variable x and its value 10 will be directly stored at this address in the memory stack like this. Okay, but if we have a reference data type like this, a string in our Java program, then it will be stored something like this. Here first the variable, then the value reference will be stored at this address in the stack memory, but the value is not here. That will be in the heap memory at this address location, which is basically the reference. Okay, that means we are maintaining two types of memory for reference data types. One is a stack and another is a heap. Now let's conclude the differences between them. First difference is primitive data types store actual values directly in the memory. Okay, whereas reference data types store references of the value or object and the actual values in the heap memory, different memory. Okay, next difference is primitive data types mostly hold single values, okay, integer single value like above, okay, right, in the stack memory. But the reference data types can hold multiple values. For example, a single variable array in a stack can hold multiple values inside the heap memory. Okay, so that is the advantage of reference data type. Okay, so great. Then next difference is, primitive data types have fixed storage. Once you decided, it is final. Okay, for example, int have a fixed storage, whereas reference data types have variable storage sizes, meaning you can add multiple values in the heap memory anytime corresponding to a single variable in a stack like an array. Okay, so this is also an advantage why we have this complex memory management for reference types. Okay, last difference is primitive data types are stored in the stack memory, you already know, whereas reference data types are stored in the heap memory with their references actually stored in the stack. Great, that is the differences between the primitive and non-primitive data types. All are written here so that later when you are revising, then you can revise them in 2-3 seconds only from the book. What is the difference between while and do-while loops? Okay, very important question asked in many interviews. And we already know the while loop. Here is the code and here is the definition. We already know. Okay, definition is while loop iterate a block of code while a certain condition. This condition is true. Okay, but if this condition is false, the loop will not execute a single time. Okay, that is the thing. Now here is the code of do while loop, and here you can see do while is very much similar to this while loop only, but here this do block code comes before the while condition, meaning when you will run this program, then after the variable declaration, this do block will execute. okay, without any condition check. Then the while condition will be checked, alright, and if the condition is failing, then again the do block will not execute, and if the condition is not failing, then do block will again execute. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion is that a do while loop is like the while loop only, except that the do block of code is executed at least once, okay, even the condition is false. So here as I said, the do block will run first time always, but from the second time based on the condition. So let me show you the code here of do while. Here is the same code, and if I run this code, see, int I equal to 5, meaning this while I is less than 4 is condition is failing, but still this line will execute at least once, so I is printed here as the output 5, okay. But then after printing one time, then the condition will be checked. I equal to 5, I plus plus will make it 6, then 6 is less than 4, which is not true, so do block will not execute second time. Alright, so I hope it is clear to you, and that is the answer to this question. What is the difference between equal to and equals method for comparing a string? Let me explain with the help of the code. See, here is a string literal with value happy, and then here is a string object with the same value happy, okay. Now double equal to is used like this, okay, like this, to compare the references, okay, meaning the locations of str1 and str2 will be compared. But here you can see str1 will be in the string pool, if you remember, and str2 is outside, okay. So that's why if I run this program, then this result will be false because their locations are not equal, okay. So that is about double equal to. Now the equals compares the value of variables values, not the references. Therefore here is the equals method, and now if I run the application, then you can see the values are same. Yes, happy same. That's why this will return true, okay. So that is the story, and I have pasted the same code here. I also pointed out how their locations are different in memory. Then I have written the answer. Double equal to compare references of objects, and equals compares the actual contents of objects, okay. So that is the answer to this question. Hi friends, just a small notification. This video is part of my full course, Top 350 Java Interview Questions, including topics like Spring Boot, MVC, and REST Web Services. All questions PDF book link is also present below in the description. So like these candidates, if you don't want to miss anything for your interviews, then try it. Otherwise, no problem. Let's continue. What is an array? Why do we need arrays in real applications? So why we need arrays? See, in application, one very important task is to manage and handle lots of data. Suppose this is the data in your application, okay? But this data is unstructured, because normally we have to hold each data and every piece of data in multiple variables, okay. Some are integer types, double types, and different data types are there. Now to make this data structured and well organized like this, Java provide us with a data type called arrays. See, like this. So now listen carefully. With the help of the arrays, we can group the related data together. Okay, the related data will be in a group in a single array. So now there are only 4 or 5 arrays which are enough to maintain or organize a huge amount of data, right? So this is well managed and well organized way. Okay, so that is the benefit of array also. And yes, you can put one category of data in one array. For example, this is the array example of the arrays. These fruits, this is a category. Now in the array elements you will have apple, banana, orange, and the array index will be 0, 1, 2. So what is array index? Index is like the location of the element in an array. Okay, index generally starts from 0 and then it is 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, depending on the number of elements you have in a single array. Okay, so great, that is the brief idea of an array. And finally, here is the definition. An array is a data type that allows you to store multiple values in a single variable. Okay, and here is the use of array. Arrays are used to store related data in a structured way. Array also enables sequential access via indexes. Okay, now in upcoming question I will show you how to declare, initialize and implement array, which is very simple. What is OOPS? What are the main concepts of OOPS? So by using OOPS concepts, we can create clean and clear structure for the softwares and web applications. Okay, now the question is, what are those concepts of OOPS and how they provide clear structure? So here are the OOPS concepts. First is the object, then classes, then inheritance, then polymorphism, then abstraction and encapsulation. So OOPS stands for object oriented programming, and object oriented means it is a way to create software application around the objects only. Okay, in the upcoming question we will start with the object and then we will cover all these OOPS concepts one by one in separate questions. And most importantly, we will explore when to use these concepts in real applications. Okay, in which situation, why they are so important. Okay, before that, here is the definition of OOPS. OOPS stands for object oriented programming, which means OOPS is a way to create software around objects. Second point is, OOPS provide a clear structure for software and web application. Okay, I'm writing it here in the book so that later you can easily and quickly revise it from here. What are classes and objects? Why to use them in application? Very important question. Let's understand with the help of an example. Suppose you are a company owner and whenever any employee joins your company, you give him an offline hard copy paper form to fill out his or her details. Okay, so that is the kind of the paper form. Okay, now this offline form is like a template with fields like name, then experience, age, etc. Right, like a admission form. Now if you want to make this process online, then you can create an abcd.com website that is like an employee management system, and then like you have the offline paper form template where you have name, experience, etc. fields. Here also you can create the classes in your application, like the employee class, which is like a template only and with fields like experience, name, and this class can also have functions also, which is not possible in the paper forms, right? So that is the benefit of the web application or software applications. Okay, so this is a template, this is not an actual person. So whenever a new employee is hired in your company, joins your company, for example, I join this company. Okay, so then I will fill out the form online and press submit. Then now listen carefully. Then this employee management application will create the object of this employee class template. Okay, and that will be something like this. This EMP is the object of the employee class. and with the help of this object, this emp object, we can set the experience, like the emp.experience is equal to 15, emp.name equal to happy, and we can also call the function by using the emp object. Okay, so this is the whole idea of the purpose of the classes and object. See, in real world there are admission forms, registration paper forms. All these are like templates, right? Same are the classes, and we use those templates to fill our details, right? And after filling those forms, those filled forms become objects. So I am talking about the classes. When you create the object, those become objects. Now you might ask, we can fill out the forms without templates also, blank papers in the hard copy. So similarly, we can create application without classes. Okay, that is functional programming. But without a proper template, then some candidate can miss writing their name, some can miss writing their age, experience. So to manage that problems is another problem. Okay, so this is one reason why object-oriented programming with classes and objects is better than function-oriented programming. In function programming, we do not have templates like classes. Okay, so great. I hope you understand this example. Now let's conclude the simplest definitions of classes and objects. First, a class is a blueprint or template for creating objects. Okay. Then an object is the instance of a class. Instance and objects are same things. And remember, classes or templates alone can't do anything. Okay. To use these classes or templates, we must create the objects. We must fill them, right? Alright, all set. Now in the upcoming question, I will quickly show you how to implement the simple class and the simple object and what are the important members of the class. What are access specifiers? What are the public and private specifiers? Again, a very important question. Here is the table and we have 4 types of access specifiers: public, protected, default and private. Right now I will explain you about only the public and private only, and default and protected in upcoming question. So let's first see the code example quickly. Here we have the student class with two fields. One is marked as public, which is name, and one is marked as private, which is city field. Okay. Remember, access specifiers can be used with fields, class names, functions and constructors also. Okay. So now I will try to access these fields from other class. So we have a science student class here, and inside that we have a get student function. Okay. To access the fields of student class, first we will create the object of student class, student object. Okay. Now listen carefully. When I will try to access and print the public field, which is name of a student class, via the student object, then that will work completely fine, and that is accessible because public members are accessible inside their own class and even outside their own class. Okay, outside the class. Okay. But now I will try to access the private field city of the student class via this student object, and this is showing the error. You can see the red underline here. That is the compile time error, and because it is not accessible. Okay, private fields are not accessible outside the class. Okay, so outside the student class you cannot access this city field. Okay. Alright, great. That is the whole story. Now the same code I have pasted here also, and here is the definition of access specifier. Access specifier are keywords used to set the access level for classes, variables or fields, methods and constructors. Now if you see in this table, then you can see that public members are accessible within their own class and within the package and within the subclass, everywhere. What is subclass, that I will tell you later, but public members are accessible everywhere. Whereas the private field is only and only accessible within the same class, not anywhere else. Alright, that is the answer. Now in the upcoming question, I will explain you the default access specifier, which is very interesting. What are the 5 differences between overloading and overriding? Very important question asked in many interviews, and that's why I am asking 5 differences, not 1 or 2 differences. They are not enough. Because if you know a question is important, then prepare as much as you can, right? Okay, so here first I will show you the side-by-side code. Here is the code of the method overloading, which I already explained, and here is the code of method overloading base class, and here is the child class of it. Okay, now I will point the differences here, and in the next slide all differences are written. The first and the most important difference is that in method overloading, multiple methods with the same name are there, but they are present in the same and single class. Yes, only one class is required for method overloading. Okay, whereas in method overriding, if you see, method names are same. Okay, and their signature is also same, but they are present in different class. So basically we override the parents class method in child class, and in overloading, so that we have only one class. Second difference is that in overloading, methods have the same name, but the parameter signature is different. Okay, meaning either the parameter type is different or the number of the parameters are different, right? But in method overriding, the method signature and name both must be same. Okay, nothing should be different. Then the third difference is method overloading is compile time polymorphism, since it is identified at compile time. But method overriding is runtime polymorphism because it is identified at runtime. This I explained in previous question. Next difference is method overloading, you do not need any annotation or any special keyword, right? Whereas in method overriding, this override annotation and keyword you require. Okay, in the child class above the overridden method. So basically it is overriding the superclass or base class method. Last difference is that constructors of the classes can be overloaded. Okay, multiple constructors can be overloaded, whereas constructors of the classes base class cannot be overridden in the derived class. And yes, constructors I will explain in upcoming questions separately. That is slightly more advanced, this last difference. But yes, these are the difference, and all these same differences I have written here in the next slide of the book. Understanding the concept is very important, but when a question is very important, then we should also remember some theory. Okay, this information in this book will help you in doing the quick and fastest revisions for your interviews, and at least you will remember 3 to 4 differences at least. I recommend that. When to use interfaces in real application? Very important question, and believe me, interfaces are very important for enterprise level big application. And yes, the answer is 70% similar to the abstract classes only, but because this is very important, therefore I am re-explaining it quickly with the same example. Okay, so you do not have to do extra efforts. Just listen. So suppose again we have to make an application for the education management system, and here we make a college class, okay, degree college class, and inside that we have two methods, courses and sports. All right, both are defined. Similarly, we have a diploma college class with the same name methods, courses and sports, but the body, the content is different this time from the degree college. Okay. Now in a big education management system, there can be many type of colleges, and you can realize that courses and sports must be a part of college. Okay, so therefore you create a university. Okay, and in the university it's like a interface. There only the abstract methods are declared, not defined. Only the declaration is there. Meaning both courses and sports without any body is not there. Now you may ask, what is the benefit of keeping these abstract methods here? Because after all, at last we have to define them in the child classes. Okay, so there is no code reusability also. And even if you remove this interface university, the college class will still work, right? So why this complexity? And yes, you are correct, we can remove the interface, but listen carefully. Interface is like a contract. Okay, contract are like rules, meaning the university will say, okay, every college that want our affiliation must have the courses and sports in them. Now what will be the exact courses, what will be the sports, that is the college choice, but college must have them. Therefore, to force these methods, the university will keep these courses and sports contract as a template ready as the abstract methods. Okay, see, if university will not keep these abstract methods, then a new developer might miss these methods and in some another polytechnic college class if they are creating, right? Or a new developer will mistakenly create some the same sports courses method with some new names like play courses, do courses. So that will create the inconsistency problem in large application, and later this problem will be like readability for other developers also. A structure problem. Okay, so contract are something present in every industry. For example, all banks in India follows the guidelines and contracts defined by the RBI, right? So RBI is like interface which is setting the contract or rules for the banks. Great, that's all. And here is the conclusion. An interface can be used to define contracts, which is implementing class must implement. This will make classes more modular and structured. Now, after completing this, the next question is one of the most important questions for Java interviews. What is the difference between abstract class and interface, right? So let's explore that. What are the differences between an abstract class and an interface? At least 4 differences. Very important question, that's why 4. Okay, here I will show you the code side by side, then show you the difference one by one. On the left side, we have one interface with all abstract methods, and then we are implementing that interface down here. Okay, and then on the right side, we have the code of the abstract class with one concrete method courses and one abstract method, and then we are just extending that abstract class here. Alright, now let's see the differences between them. The simplest difference is interfaces are defined by using the interface keyword. Okay, whereas abstract classes are defined by using the abstract keyword. Don't miss this kind of simple differences. They are very easy to say, right? Second difference is that interface supports multiple inheritance. Yes, here you can put multiple interfaces, you can implement multiple interfaces. But abstract class does not support multiple inheritance. You cannot extend more than one base class, abstract class. Okay, so that is the difference. Next difference is in interfaces, methods are implicitly abstract. What does it mean is here you do not have to write the abstract keyword in the interfaces. Okay, no keyword is required. Whereas in abstract classes, you have to use the abstract keyword to make a method abstract. Okay. Next difference is interfaces cannot have constructors, right? Whereas an abstract class can have the constructor. Yes, it is possible in abstract class. Now you may ask, when we can't create the object of the interfaces and abstract class, then why do we need constructors for abstract class? So that I will explain in upcoming questions in constructors maybe, but yes, I will explain. And the last difference is interfaces can have default methods and abstract class cannot have default methods. Again, default methods I will explain shortly in the upcoming question. Okay, great. These are the 5 or 6 differences I think, and in the next slide I have written all of them in the book. What is the similarity and then what are the 5 differences, and that will be then very easier for you to revise later. What is exception handling? How to implement exception handling in Java? Very important question. Let's understand what is an exception and how to do exception handling with the help of code example. Here is the main method, okay, and inside we have an array of numbers inside it, okay. The type is integer and we have 3 elements inside it. Now suppose we try to access the 4th element of this array like this with index 3, okay. 0, 1, 2. We have only 3 elements and we are trying to reach 4th element at 3rd index. Now when you run this application, obviously you will get the array which is like this: array index out of bound, index 3 out, because 4th element is not present in the array. Now the end user will also see this technical error or technical web page, and it's a very bad user experience and bad for security also. And mostly as a developer you will never know what and when the error has occurred, so that you can fix it, right? So to resolve this issue, we use exception handling. Alright, now listen carefully. Error management or exception handling means capturing the errors and properly handling them. For that, first we will put all your code which you want to manage inside the try block like this using the try keyword. Okay, then put the catch block below it, below the try block. Okay, so what will happen if there will be any error here inside the try block at any particular line, then immediately that the execution will be transferred to the catch block. Okay, and inside the catch block you can do anything, like you can print the message, you can log the message, you can properly handle the error. Okay, now if I run the code, now you can see this is the method which we want to show to the user. This can be anything, you can change it here. So that is the benefit of try and catch, and that is how try catch block works using the keywords try and catch. Okay, now the same code I have pasted in the book also, and here I have written the simplest definition of the exception handling. It is exception handling in object programming is used to manage errors, and then I have explained what is try block and what is catch block, which I already explained, just written here so that it can help you in revision. Now there is one more keyword which is very important, and that is finally, and that I will quickly explain you how it works in the upcoming question. Okay. What are the differences between an array and array list? Alright, this is a very important question from interview point of view. So let's compare the codes side by side and understand the differences. On the left side, we have the code for an array. Here we are first defining the array, creating the array, and then we are adding the elements in the array, and finally we are printing or accessing the elements of the array like this. Okay. On the right side, the code is of array list. Here first we are creating the array, defining the array, then adding the elements inside the array, and then accessing the elements, and finally removing the elements from the array. So this is the code which I already explained separately in previous questions. Now let's find 5-6 differences here. Similarly, if you have played a game where we find 5 differences between two almost identical pictures, so this is a bit similar to that. Okay. So first and the most important difference is that arrays have a fixed size. Okay. Meaning you must set the fixed size or the length of the array initially when you are declaring the array. Okay. But if you see the array list, they are of dynamic size. We do not put any fixed size or length for array list. Okay. Meaning you can add, delete any numbers of elements at any point of time. Alright. The second difference is simple. An array cannot be resized once created. Meaning if you have set the size of, for example, 5 here, then you cannot put 10 elements in an array. Even if you put 3 or 2 elements, the size 2 remaining places will be empty if you have set the size 5. Okay. Whereas array list, again dynamic, they automatically resizes when the elements are added in them. Okay, resizes them. Then the third difference is array is not part of the collection class. Okay, or you can say Java collection framework. Whereas array list are the part of the Java collection framework, that is java.util, for example, .array list. So this is Java collection framework, whatever comes inside it. Next difference is syntax related. Array is declared using the square brackets like this, whereas array list is declared and initialized using the array list class like this. Next, array does not have any built-in methods for adding or removing elements. Okay, whereas array list provides built-in methods like add, get method, then remove method. So these are present in array list. Great. These are the, I think, 5 or 6 differences between them. And in the next slide, I have listed the same differences in this book, which I already explained to you. Basically, these differences will help you in doing the revision very quick and very fast. Alright. So now in the upcoming question, we will see the differences between the array list and hash set. So basically, we will understand the hash set by comparing it with array list. Okay. Congratulations for completing all the questions. As I always said, most students study to just learn, but you don't have to just learn. You also have to crack the interview, and facing interviews need courage. For that courage and spirit, all the best from my side. And yes, if you have not yet accepted the Never Give Up challenge until you crack the interview, then accept the challenge now by writing Never Give Up in the comment section. And yes, don't forget to like and subscribe the channel. Thank you.